Well, my highlight of working at the museum, it's a hard question to answer. Certainly working with good people has been fantastic. I've worked in the fish department for 37 years, and working all that time with all those people, you know, you'd expect natural human instinct there'd be clashes and problems. Well, there was the occasional disagreement, but overall it's worked remarkably well for all that time. We've been a really cohesive unit. And in fact, people have actually referred to the ichthyology department as happy fish. For that reason, it's been a wonderful thing. In the field, my career highlights, it's very hard to say because, as you say, I've done so many field trips to so many amazing places. There have been some incredible finds. I remember diving to 30 metres on one occasion on a vertical coral wall in the Great Barrier Reef, Northern Great Barrier Reef, and we were using rotenone, and I just wafted my hand over this algae thinking there might be a little fish in it. And the algae broke up. It was this filamentous orange algae. It broke up and started sinking down into deeper water. And I felt awful because damaging the environment is something I'm very concerned about. And as I watched this orange algae float down into deeper water, I saw an eye. I thought, what the hell is that? So I sort of ignored regulations and went a little bit deeper and caught this fish. And it was the first Australian Museum record of an orange hairy ghost pipefish, which is like a seahorse, but well, I'll just say like a seahorse, but it's covered in orange hair. And as I put it carefully into a plastic bag and carried it up, and as I went up, one of the experts on this group was swimming down for her turn to collect specimens. She looked at it, and I've never seen somebody's eyes nearly bulge out against the mast. She was so thrilled. I've also swum with a whale shark on a field trip. This was before the regulations, you couldn't touch them, and it was quite amazing because we were all getting geared up to get in the water, had our wetsuits on and masks and snorkels, and somebody yelled, "Whale shark!" We looked out and there was this big bow wave approaching the boat, and I was lucky enough to be geared up. I jumped in and had this awesome ride on the back of this whale shark. That was just incredible. But there have also been difficult times too, like being chased out of the water by sharks at Malta Cay. That was quite incredible. I mean, we did everything wrong. It was night time, dusk. It was a turtle nesting colony. There were all these things wrong. We were collecting. And on that dive, we saw this massive Queensland groper that was the size of a VW. You know, it was just this massive thing, and there were sharks going everywhere. We ended up aborting the dive and crawling up onto this beach and laughing our heads off as fins are going everywhere. So field work, there's all kinds of amazing things that I've been very privileged to do. In the collection, it's every time you go down there you see something amazing. The one that really blows me away is some of the deep sea fish. They're not necessarily very large. In fact, some of them are quite small, but there are some remarkable things where, you know, they're obviously big toothy fish that, you know, they hang around there in the deep ocean. Their food is scarce. And there are some that the females are little blobs, but the males are parasites on the females. And every time I go down there, I look at this fish and think how remarkable. Probably one of the most extraordinary things I've done as far as work with the collection goes was filming the goblin shark. When we got a baby goblin shark arrived at the museum. We'd already had a couple of big goblin sharks, and there's a photograph of me in the early 80s standing beside a goblin shark being held up on a gantry. And I'm there in my shorts and stubbies. It was a really classic photo. Anyway, but we got this small goblin shark about just over 1 metre long, and it came into the museum. And Claire, the publicist, arranged for a videographer to come in, and we did this story about this goblin shark. And it was incredible. Claire waited a little while until the time was right to put this out on the web, and it just went viral. It's still climbing now. There's over 1.1 million hits on that particular video. So yeah, that was pretty good too. So it's hard to say what the career highlight is, but because it's been so long and so varied, but I've been very privileged. I've enjoyed it nearly all immensely. Now I've got 6 species named after me, which is a real honour, one of which is a parasitic crustacean. So obviously 5 are fish, 1's a parasite, and somebody said to me once, how do you feel about having a parasite named after you? I said, I'm honoured, of course. Anyway, so yeah, there are 6 named after me now.